goal.
Our very, very big goal is going to be totally 100% off grid. Hey guys, we are so glad that you are back, and we are back.
We're back.
We're ready to sit down with you tonight. We're going to be talking about energy, moving more towards self-sufficiency, and all of the different things that you can do, steps that you can take right now, even if you're not on a homestead, even if you're looking for land, if you're looking to move, or you're not and you're staying right in place where you are. Some steps that you can take, some things that you can do to prepare for energy efficiency, preparedness, short-term emergencies, long-term emergency situations. So if any of that interests you, or if you just want to save some money on your electric bill, sit back and relax, and we are going to be sharing everything that we've done over the years.
Sharing's caring.
Sharing is caring. Everything we've done over the years, and all the things that we have in place and plans that we have in place to continue to move forward and meet some of our goals. So we're just going to jump right into our biggest one that is the most exciting one of the new year. I'm not going to make you guys wait until the end of the video because I know that some of you like to click off. So our biggest reveal is that our huge goal is going to be,
it's a very big goal.
Our very, very big goal is going to be totally 100% off grid. And how you're going to say, how are you planning to do that? And how are we planning to do that, Daddy?
Tesla solar roof system. And Elon, if you're listening, buddy, we could do a great promotional video for y'all. And if I could get a really steep discount on the product, we could do this for much cheaper than what I'm projecting it to cost.
So what are we talking about when we talk about a Tesla roof? Because it's new to me. It's probably a new term to most people. So when we say a Tesla roof, what does that mean?
So a Tesla solar roof system consists of the actual roof shingle is the solar panel. And then, and it's very cool looking. It's very designer. So obviously all of your roof tiles aren't solar panels. The rest of the tiles that aren't at the proper angle with the sun and that aren't going to get maximum efficiency are glass tiles. They have really high impact rating. They have really high wind rating. And the complete Tesla solar roof system is complemented by the Tesla Powerwall, which gives you 9 to 14 days of complete and total backup power. And these are all predicated upon a lot of different calculations. Our house does sit perfectly north and south, perpendicularly north and south. So that way we do have a large south slope that'll get maximum exposure. So we should be able to produce a pretty solid KW. We don't have a lot of tree coverage around here, so we should get maximum output out of our roof. The cost is rather extensive, but when you have a Tesla roof system with a Powerwall, you do not need a generator backup system. And we had a goal of getting a Generac backup system, which, a 24 kW Generac whole house system would cost you about probably $15,000 right now installed. I could get it at cost, so I could get it for less than that. But with a Tesla solar roof with a battery wall, we wouldn't need the Generac system or the Kohler system, so therefore you can deduct that off the bottom. And there is going to be incentives and all that good stuff. So we'll see. I'm still doing all my research, gathering all my data. It's about $2,800 a square, or $280 a square foot. So it's not cheap, but it's a 25-year roof. I really like the way the roof system is installed. It's got a very solid peel and stick underlayment, which is basically kind of the roof system, and the rest of the system is very unique. It's very ingenuitive. It's a very beautiful roof system. Not that I care that much, but Texas Mom cares about that kind of stuff. So that is a very big bodacious goal that we do have. We'll see if we can make that happen this year. Tesla, the actual panels themselves, they just improved the efficiency of their own panels by 51%, which is rather impressive. So that's going to make a lot of our KW, what we need to generate, possible, just through recent innovation. And their product is actually available, which is pretty amazing. So that is what we're shooting for. Yes. And we'll see how the cookie crumbles.
And we had looked in the past, we looked into solar, just a more traditional type solar, and it just didn't make sense, guys. The numbers did not make sense. About 2 years ago, we were actually given in a trade deal a solar system, and we were going to have that installed, and we even had someone come out at the property, and a local business person who does solar, and he went through everything with us, told us everything we would have to do with the house and different things to get everything in place to be 100% off grid, and it just didn't make sense, guys. The numbers didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. And then so for the last 2 years, our goal has been to save up to get a Generac. We do have 2 other smaller generators that run the freezers. They can run the refrigerator in the house, just certain little things to keep us going for short-term emergencies. But our long-term goal was, to do this longer term, we would really need to have a Generac, and then also we would have to need an Instahot for the hot water and different things like that.
Yeah, which we still might need the Instahot. We would have had to have buried a 1,000-gallon propane tank, and if we get the Tesla system, we'll probably still get an Instahot, but we'll be able to go with a 250 or 500-gallon tank, and
way smaller.
Yeah, it'll make a lot of the logisticals better. Yeah, and there's a lot of variables, and energy costs are a huge variable now. They're definitely going to go up. Our energy bill year over year from 2020 to 2021 increased significantly. I wanted to actually take it as a percentage, but it's probably, our total energy bill for last year probably went up about 20-30%.
Mm-hmm. And they're saying to get ready and prepare ourselves for it to potentially times by 3 or 5, or they really don't know this winter what our energy bill could do. So as of yet, it has not, but we're bracing ourselves.
Well, we've been heating almost exclusively with wood, and that's gone really well, and that's kept our electric bill low. We're 100% electric because we're here in Northeast Texas. That's just kind of the way a lot of people do things here. 1, because power has been so cheap. 2, because it doesn't get that cold, so a lot of times you're heating with a heat pump, which is basically just a reverse air conditioner. And when it does go below freezing, you do have to switch to emergency heat, which is a heating coil, which is really expensive to run. So we haven't had to do that very often. We do use our heater at night just so that we don't have to tend the fire, and the heat's more evenly distributed in the house. So.
Right. So when we learned about the Tesla roofs, we were really, really excited with this opportunity to be 100% off grid and do it in a way that made perfect financial sense to do it. And yes, it's a big investment, but we do have a modest house here, and it's not an unachievable goal. It's a big goal, but it's not an unachievable goal. So that is definitely our goal. But let's back up and let's talk about some baby steps or some steps along the way that we have done to be more energy efficient here, and just all along the line, preparedness and all of that kind of stuff. So one of the first things that we did years and years ago, probably going back about, I don't know, 13 years ago now, is that we got a little propane stove, just a little camp propane stove.
Coleman propane stove.
Coleman, and you can get them just at
Camper
Walmart, and they are wonderful. If you don't have a way to cook when your power goes out, that is the number one thing that you will need to do when you lose power, is have a way to cook and a way to heat things up. So the Coleman stove was one of our first steps that we did. We also got a little camp coffee pot, and that just makes a world of difference. If you can have a hot pot of coffee or just some hot tea when the power is out, it really does make life seem a lot more normal. We can attest to that over the years of losing power. So go to your local Walmart or your local camp store and go into the camping section and find out, like, just really try to think outside the box and try to look at some of the things that you would use if you were camping, and think about using them in an off-grid situation in your house when the power goes out. And here, since moving to the country, we were just told by our neighbors right up front, like, prepare to be out of power at different points in the year, and when the power goes out, prepare that you're going to be out of power for a long time. So that has happened to us both in the cold seasons and in the hot seasons. And both have its challenges, and I think it's actually easier to lose power in the winter than it is in the summer.
Yeah.
The summer just has a whole nother level of challenges here. But even before that, one of the big things that you're going to want to consider is water. So you're going to need a way to cook. You're going to need water. So if that means water collection for you, if that means you have to store water, if it's for your drinking water, it might mean that you need to get a Berkey machine and have that as your off-grid water filtration. For us and our family, we have community water here, which is kind of like a city water, so we don't necessarily lose water unless if there was an emergency situation with them. So we still have water here.
And it's why we installed the pond, because the pond is an emergency backup water source. When we have a Berkey, and we're supposed to be getting one of these portable Kagan brick systems that we ordered, it, because of the supply chain stuff, we ordered it, probably 6 months ago, and we keep getting email updates.
Right. But we do have a whole water filtration system on the house too, so that really helps for emergency type situations when maybe something goes wrong in the community water, and at least our water is going through a filtration process, but we still do have the Berkey as well as emergency backup filtration. Yeah. And if you're looking for property, one of the number one things that you want to look for is water. When you're looking at a property, you want to find a property that has a water source.
I can never get over, like, you watch all these homestead shows, like all the homestead rescue shows, and how like 90% of these people buy these isolated properties with no type of potential any way to get water.
Right.
And it blows my mind. And they like suffer for like 3 to 4 years with like this insane concept of like toting water, and it's just
water is the number one thing that you want to look for. So if it has a well on the property, that's going to be a huge bonus. We do have a well on our property, but it is not safe drinking water, so that is a goal. That's been a goal for a long time, is to get our well redug or have a new well dug. And have safe drinking water here on the property, but it's kind of expensive where we're at to do that. So In the meantime, we do have a pond. We invested in having a pond, and that's for the animals in the garden. So that is wonderful. And in an emergency situation, I guess it could be for us too if we filtered it. But another thing is when you're looking at a property, you definitely want to be looking at that. You want to be looking at where is our water going to come from, where is the animals' water going to come from, and having a pond is huge when it comes to homesteading and taking care of animals, because we've done it when the animals did not have a source of water and there were emergency type situations, like grid down situations for over a week at a time, and we had to haul water from like other source like a couple miles down the road to our animals, and it was a nightmare. It was just really, really, really a difficult, strenuous situation to be bringing water to animals when they don't have water. So definitely a pond for your animals is going to be huge. That's going to be really huge. Or a creek or some way for your animals to access water. That's going to get your animals self-sufficient, which is in a lot of ways like better than you being self-sufficient with water, because at least they're taken care of. So let's see, we talked about heat. We talked about us heating with wood. If you don't have a wood stove, which we didn't for a long time, or a fireplace or something like that, make that a goal that you can have one of them put in. That's what we did in our home. We built our own, and we have a insert, just a fireplace insert, and it does really, really help so much with heating in the winter months. So that is just a huge, gigantic blessing. And you can also look for, if until you get to that goal, you can look at heating with propane or with those heat buddies. They really work out really well, and you can get them just at Tractor Supply or somewhere. They have even the big heat buddies, and that will help in an emergency situation. But you don't want to wait until you have a snowstorm or until you lose power to think about all of those things. You want to have some things in place to prepare now to take care of your family, to get you through those times. And one of the big blessings, I know last year, right around this time actually, we had the snowpocalypse. And
in February.
And we had 0 degrees and up to minus 10 degree temps. Like,
probably, yeah.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
For a whole week straight, it was nuts. But one of the big things that helped us was having our generators in place to be able to run things, and also having the Instapot to plug into the generator. That was a game changer, and I never ever would have thought of my Instapot being a preparedness tool, but it totally is. If you have a generator and you can plug in your Instapot, you can make your family really great, delicious meals. They're so easy, they're all contained, and you can also heat your water, which was gigantic. Like, that was a huge deal. So I had 2 of them plugged in, and they were constantly on the kitchen table, always full of hot steaming water, and out of that I was able to do dishes, I was able to do laundry. We were able to carry out hot water and put it out for the animals throughout the day, just to keep the ice defrosted. It was just, we could get baths. I mean, it was huge to have that water there ready to go.
Instant Pot survival tool.
Yeah, it was an Instant Pot survival tool. So you'll never look at your Instant Pot the same again. And we did get a generator last year.
We have 2 generators, yeah.
Right. But we got one last year, which was like a feat, right? Or it's been 2 years
No,
now,
I bought
right?
I bought 2 because the AI power, Sam's Club had a really great deal on a dual fuel AI power that's like 12 kW, and it was less than $1,000, so I just bought it just to have it, and it was dual fuel, and it was a really good AI power. Was a really good setup and it came with lots of bells and whistles, and it was a really good value. And then we have a 10 or 11 kW Northern Tool generator, which is a really nice generator. And it's nice and quiet. So we have 2 generators. 2 is one is none. And the AI powers dual fuel, so we can either run the propane tanks on it or we can put gas in it. Yeah. So that's another really nice feature.
And it's wonderful to have 2 because if you have 2, you can always offer one to a neighbor who might be in need as well. So that has really come into play and been a blessing for sure. And another thing I guess that we can talk about is if you're keeping a generator on hand for emergencies, which we highly recommend that you do, you're also going to be wanting to store fuel for that generator or those generators.
Yeah, and you do it, we do it with a rotational, you have 5 or 10 5-gallon cans, and Jack Spirko recommends you just number them 1 through 10 and you rotate them out. A lot of people recommend that, so that's kind of like the way we do it. And we go through a lot of fuel because we're fueling tractors and chainsaws and all kind of stuff, so we're rotating out our fuel rather frequently.
Right, because also in the snowpocalypse last year, we learned that fuel becomes very, very difficult to find in an emergency situation. So even if you have all of your systems in place, if you haven't prepped your fuel, you can find yourself in a really hard way really fast.
Yeah.
Light, that is a big deal.
Yeah, and one of the easiest hacks on the lights are just like the solar lights, like the ones we have on the fireplace. You just put the solar panel outside and they charge all day, and when it goes dusk or dark, the lights come on, and they usually run all night, and you can set them to go on and off. So that's a really good hack, just to have some solar lights around your house.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, we can link them below, is just the patio lights and things like that, and they come in the strings, and we just have one set draped over top of our fireplace, and we keep the solar panel in the window facing outward, so every evening, like right now, the lights just come on when it gets dark outside. And then we had a set in the front room too. We should probably get another set for the front room, but that is just a really great,
the cat likes to play with the lights,
hack to have. Then you have some light set up in your house, and you don't have to really be running around.
It's automated, yeah,
looking for flashlights and that kind of thing. Another thing that we use,
they have a new light bulb now that you can put in the socket, and it passively charges even while it's in operation, and then when your power goes out, you can still turn the lights on and off, and it's pretty wild. Yeah,
that's super cool. So even if we just put like one of them in each room,
you could do that.
Then you'd have like emergency lighting. That's super cool.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I don't know how. They're supposed to last 25 years and all that stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
The other things that we just have is just flashlights. And we have lanterns, just the oil lanterns.
Lamps, yeah.
They're just great because they just burn forever and ever and ever. And you have to prep your oil. You have to have your oil ready. Which I always keep a couple containers of that ready. Yeah. But those things are great because they will just go all night long or whatever. You have to be careful with them, obviously. The other little things that are actually safer to have, especially if you have little kids around, is just the little camp lanterns that pop up and they have the little batteries in them. You can keep them like one in your bathroom or whatever, and then it's just there and ready. The kids having the little ones like for night lights and things like that, because little kids freak out when it's pitch dark and the power totally goes out. So having them around is really good. Also, our big, is that thing called the Milwaukee Light?
Yeah, the Milwaukee Light.
The Milwaukee Light has like saved our bacon like so many times when the power's been out, because you put the battery pack in it, and as long as your battery pack is charged, that Milwaukee Light will like light up the backyard. And sometimes, I mean, living on a farm or living in the country or wherever, you have to go out and it's pitch black dark. And if ever all the power's out in the whole neighborhood, it's really handy to have.
In the neighborhood. It's not like we have any ambient light coming from our neighbors here.
No, but I'm saying, like, if they're in a neighborhood. Then, I mean, you have that big Milwaukee Light. I mean, that thing is really come in handy. Or you're going out to check animals or something like that. It's great. The other thing is just those little headlamps, the little lights that you can wear on your headband.
Yeah, Milwaukee makes a great rechargeable headlamp, and I just keep it in my truck, and it's great. You know, and it's USB rechargeable, so it can hook to a solar panel or you can charge it in your truck or whatever.
So we talked about water, we talked about heat, we talked about coffee and tea. We talked about having your little propane tanks stored and ready. Just those little, what are they, like 2-pound one, 1-pound ones?
Coleman's, yeah.
The little Coleman's.
Green ones, yeah.
Keep a steady supply of them and have them ready for your little stove so you can cook and you can do all the things on that. Having a generator or 2, making it a goal to have 2, working towards having some type of wood stove, or at least at minimum an insert, but I think a good wood stove is the best thing for heating. Yeah, and ultimately, if you're crazy enough like us, make it a goal to get your house 100% off grid and get a Tesla roof. I mean, we are really, really excited about just the idea of being 100% off the grid and totally self-reliant in that way. That would just be super cool.
It would be nice.
Getting an Insta hot
I'm
water
skeptical,
heater.
but yet optimistic.
Yes, I'm very optimistic about this.
Texas Mom is way more optimistic than I am, but I am skeptically optimistic.
Getting an Insta hot. Definitely that's a goal.
Yep.
Having a little propane tank for that, to run that. And, you know, if it's a goal for you to cook, to have a gas stove, that's always handy to have as well. We did have one of them in the past. I don't know how high on the priority list right now it is to have one of them again.
Well, see, the thing is when you're going with solar power, and even if you have power storage like a Powerwall, you still have to reduce your consumption, and one very easy way to reduce our electrical consumption will be to get a propane Insta hot water heater and a propane stove. So you're eliminating all that draw from your consumption, which extends your storage capacity. You know, it's just like a more fuel efficient automobile. So to get the amount of days of backup that we're going to want, like I'd want like hopefully like 2 weeks in order to get that. We're definitely going to have to go to an Insta hot, and we're definitely going to have to go to a propane stove. And this is why, you know, this is part of my beef with solar, is just because theoretically it does work, but you do have to reduce your usage, which I understand there's a lot of common sense to that, but to just act like it's just like having power, it's just not. You know, it's not like being plugged into the grid, and it's not like, you know, people that are totally off grid and self-sustained by solar have a very small electrical footprint.
Sure.
You know.
So working on like installing a big clothesline out back for the warmer months to dry like that.
I love
that'll help a lot.
Line dry, yeah, exactly.
And then just hanging the clothes up during the winter time to dry will really help a lot too. So yeah, doing all of those things
other
as
stuff,
well is really gonna probably all come into play. So it's gonna be a learning curve. And we're gonna figure it out, guys. But yeah, that is all of our tips for you guys. That's all of our goals and our big announcements, plans moving forward into 2022 and 2022, guys. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you came away from it with some ideas and some inspiration for your house and your family. And until next time, we'll be right here. Y'all come back.
See y'all.
See you guys. Bye.